There's a big difference between being the leader and being the boss. The mark of a great leader is that they put the needs of the people they lead first. This is called servant leadership.
I think of it in terms of a servant leader. It's not someone that go out and drive other people to positions of higher performance, but it's someone who can listen to people, who can instill a vision in people and get people to rally around it to really make a difference.
Think in terms of the group as your team. And it doesn't matter whether it's a bunch of 13-year-old boys or 10 university deans. You have to be willing to listen to them. You have to be willing to include them in your decision making. You have to ask their views, their opinions.
A process that will let you be a more effective servant leader is the leading edge. Explaining, demonstrating, guiding, and enabling. You use the same approach when you're leading a patrol or any other team. Remember our friendly compass and the 4 stages of team development? Let's take a look at which method of leadership works best for each stage. These team development stages are forming, storming, norming, and performing. Let's take a look at each of them, but this time apply a leadership style you can use to assist the patrol in its development. In our first example, the newly formed patrol had a goal of learning how to plan a meal. They are excited, but do not know where to begin. When your team is forming, enthusiastic, motivated, and needing the most help, the explaining style of leadership is the right choice. As a leader, you want to explain to them what they need to be doing. It is more than just telling them and being directive. It is assisting them in a friendly manner. Always make sure you check yourself to be certain you're communicating and being understood. Take a look at the following 2 examples and see if you can see the difference.
You better fix your food right now.
We need to work together. There's a lot more to preparing a meal than just doing the cooking. What do we need to get done? John, you need to start by preparing the fire. That way you'll be cooking on coals. Billy, you need to get the water for cooking and cleanup. We'll need lots of hot water to make sure all our dishes, pots, and pans are clean. It isn't any fun to get sick on a campout. Terry, you'll be the cook. Start by preparing the food. I'll stick around and make sure your first meal's great.
Could you tell the difference? The second leader gave the boys specifics. He told them what to do and why in a positive, non-bossy way. He gave them the information they needed to succeed at the task and to repeat it successfully again. When your team is storming, maybe a little frustrated because they can't figure out the way it should be done, everyone has a different opinion of how to fix the meal. They are still learning and realizing that everything they want to do isn't as easy as they thought. Demonstrating works best. Think of it this way. You're virtually showing your team how to succeed. Take a look at these 2 examples.
This beef stew is easy to cook, but we need to work as a team. Decide who's going to do each task: fire building, water collecting, and cooking. I'll work the closest with the cooks. The first step in making the stew is to peel the potatoes. Make sure you always peel away so you don't cut yourself. The next step is to cut the carrots and quarter the onions. The final step is to cut the beef into squares. That's right, Billy. You want them all the same size so the beef cooks evenly.
The directions are in your cookbook. Just follow the directions and let me know when you're ready to eat.
Obviously, the first leader's patrol is going to get a well-prepared meal. The demonstrating leadership style takes time and can be frustrating if you are busy and think someone's taking too long to learn, but you'll soon find out that patience is another great leadership skill. Hang in there and give everyone a chance. Okay, we've covered explaining and demonstrating. Next is guiding. You use that leadership style when your team is norming. Guiding means you give them more freedom to figure out things on their own, but you're still around when they need you. It's like taking the training wheels off the bike, but still running along behind it in case the rider starts to tip over. Let's see how our 2 patrol leaders do with this one.
You're never gonna learn unless you do all your patrol cooking without help. I have to go help the new scout patrol.
Your patrol did a great job cooking on our last several camping trips. I think you guys can do it by yourself this time, so why don't you make a plan and give it a try? If you need me, I'll be over there with the new guys.
The second leader was truly a guide. He gave encouragement, but didn't make the scouts feel like they were being abandoned. Chances are, the meals tasted great. But if problems arose, the leader was nearby to give assistance. Which brings us to enabling, the final E of the leading edge. That's used when your team is in the 4th quadrant of our compass, performing. When you enable your team, You give them the freedom to make decisions and expand their own leadership skills. You know they have the skills and sound judgment to get the job done. Let's look at our examples.
Terry, you and your guys are always such great cooks. Could you get the Dutch oven started? Everybody's starved.
Terry, throw some grub together quick. I'm starved.
The first leader not only gave the scout the opportunity to expand his leadership skills, but a compliment too. He motivated him to do a great job. No doubt about it, how you communicate, how you explain, demonstrate, guide, and enable, and when you use each method makes all the difference. When your team is forming, explain. When your team is storming, demonstrate. When your team is norming, guide. And when your team is performing, enable. Remember, your role as a leader is to set an example, encourage, teach, and enable your patrol to grow and achieve. That doesn't mean you make everyone into who you are, but help them learn to become the best they can be. If you focus on the Scout oath and law, follow the leading edge, and always respect and value others, you'll do just great.